Monday, ABC's World News Tonight focuses on a warning from science. Invisible magnetic fields from electric power lines around your home could be linked to cancer, especially in children.
Now what do I do?
Expect the world of ABC News.
I'm Mike Binkley. Topping the Eyewitness News update this Sunday, a weekend of deer hunting in Minnesota has caused the deaths of 3 men. We'll have details. A terrorist bombing kills many and injures more in Northern Ireland during Remembrance Day services. And we'll show you how Minnesotans turned the World Series win into a big plus for the state.
And I'll tell you how far the temperatures will dip this week in 5's first forecast.
In sports, Wade Wilson rescues the Vikings, which leads us to the question, who's their starting quarterback?
Those stories and a look at a Viking quarterback who's not letting diabetes get him down. All next on the Eyewitness News Update.
This is Auto Express, and this is our tire advantage. Top-line brands at bottom-line prices. You won't beat it at Sears or Goodyear or Kmart. We won't be undersold on any advertised tire we sell. Choose from Michelin, General, BF Goodrich, Kelly Springfield, or Bridgestone. Plus, we install in 59 minutes or less.
Top-line brands at bottom-line prices. Right from a reward.
Now, Michelin's XA4 radial tire as low as $33.99.
Most health plans talk about choice, but when you go to their clinic, your choices quietly slip away. You may be losing the right to choose your own doctor, to change doctors anytime, to see a specialist without a referral. Only one health plan is working to preserve these freedoms for you, PHP. And if you don't have the freedom to choose, what do you have?
If you've ever dreamed of owning a Porsche, it's nice to know that some dreams come true faster than others.
See the 924S at your local Twin Cities Porsche dealer today.
You're watching KSTP TV, Minnesota's News Channel 5. Live from Minnesota's News Channel, KSTP Channel 5, Mike Binkley, Karen Falloon, and Mark Stevens bring you the Eyewitness News Update.
Good evening, everyone. The first weekend of the Minnesota deer hunting season is drawing to a close now, with several hunters arriving back with their deer tonight. But this weekend has also been marred by the usual number of hunting-related accidents. 3 deaths have been reported across the state, including a Twin Cities man shot to death, 40-year-old Gerald Michaels of St. Louis Park, and 2 others who suffered heart attacks. 3 others were injured by buckshot, including 2 from the Twin Cities, Almond Krebs of Wayzata and Jack Smith of Anoka County. Meanwhile, thousands more like these 3 from Hugo arrived back happy tonight with something to show for their weekend. More than 400,000 hunting licenses were issued in Minnesota, and from the looks of things on the highway, quite a few deer were captured.
Well, I seen quite a few deer coming back, yes. Most vehicles had 1, but seen 1 with 3 on it.
And Emery says he'll be back out again next weekend. As hunters head homeward tonight after a big weekend, authorities are reporting surprisingly light traffic. But come Monday morning, traffic jams will be the norm, especially in the southwestern suburbs. John Wingate reports on the growing pains of these growing communities.
For commuters in Eden Prairie, Chaska, and Chanhassen, the traffic jams last longer than most because the communities have literally outgrown their major roadways. Highways 5, 169, and 212 are the major arteries serving the southwest suburbs. But they were built 40 years ago, and this was farm country. Now this area represents one of the fastest growing spots in the state. Commuters pay the price. Delays are common, with traffic volume 4 times what it should be. And the accident rate has skyrocketed. Highway officials say the problem is felt elsewhere, too.
When a major arterial like that gets way over capacity, then the traffic, of course, starts spilling over onto lesser roads that are even less capable of handling traffic. The whole system feels the brunt of this thing.
Crawford says it would cost $50 million to totally upgrade Highways 5, 169, and 212. But with federal and state funding cutbacks, the legislature's been unable to okay the work. Business leaders hope something is done before the bad roads begin to affect economic growth.
A professional here working in Eden Prairie is just as important as a tourist fishing up in northern Minnesota, and they're going to have to balance the economics.
Community leaders will take their concerns about highway congestion to a meeting of state lawmakers tomorrow. They're hoping for help from the legislature next session, but any significant relief is still years away, with a bad traffic situation getting worse. John Wingate for the Eyewitness News Update in Eden Prairie.
Elsewhere tonight, Wisconsin authorities are trying to put the pieces together in an unusual death. The nude body of a young black man was found in a pasture near Roberts, Wisconsin this afternoon. The St. Croix County coroner says the body had no marks on it resembling those of an assault. The body was found by a youth on an all-terrain vehicle. An autopsy tomorrow is expected to answer more questions. An Oak Park Heights prison guard is resigned after she admitted to having an unprofessional relationship with an inmate. Warden Frank Wood tells Eyewitness News that allegations she may have supplied the inmate with drugs or weapons also are being investigated. In Washington, Republicans would like to know who's responsible for Judge Douglas Ginsburg's nomination to the Supreme Court. Party members spent the day backbiting, wondering why Chief of Staff Howard Baker didn't protect the president from Ginsburg, and why Attorney General Edwin Meese was a prime supporter of two failed nominees.
I don't think this is Meese's fault. I think this is the fault of people in the White House who run for cover every time any real difficulty comes up. We've seen it time after time. I've made excuses for it time after time, and I'm getting sick of it.
Ginsburg withdrew his candidacy for the bench yesterday after admitting he had smoked marijuana in the past. Meanwhile, in Des Moines, the question was posed to Democratic candidates there campaigning for president. Have they ever smoked pot?
I've never tried marijuana, coke, heroin. I did not say it self-righteously. I made the judgment a long time ago not to.
I was never a participant, but I don't claim any great virtue, and I shouldn't be elected president of the United States simply because I haven't used marijuana.
Vice President George Bush was in town, too, addressing the issue. Bush says the use of marijuana shouldn't disqualify someone from serving in public office. When he was asked whether he had ever smoked pot, he replied, quote, "No, but I'd hate to speak for my kids." President Reagan is expected to quickly name a third nominee for the High Court, but the Ginsburg withdrawal doesn't represent the first time that a president has had to make a third nomination for the bench. President Nixon did. He nominated Judge Clement Haynsworth Jr. in 1969 and Judge Harold Carswell in 1970. Both were rejected as they tried to fill the seat vacated by Justice Abe Fortas. The seat was eventually filled by Justice Harry Blackmun of Minnesota. A ceremony commemorating the war dead of nearly 70 years ago turned into a scene of bloodshed and destruction in Northern Ireland. The tragedy leads our look around the world tonight. A bystander with a home video camera caught the moments after a homemade bomb went off, killing 11 people and injuring 53. It exploded as hundreds of people gathered for Remembrance Day services. The Irish Republican Army is the chief suspect. A Palestinian terrorist group led by the notorious Abu Nidal claims it hijacked a boat off the coast of Israel, taking 6 Israeli citizens and 2 children hostages. There's been no confirmation of the hijacking. In Jordan, Arab leaders are meeting in a rare summit to talk about how to end the Iran-Iraq war. 1 crewman is dead and 11 are hurt after 2 trains collided head-on near the Utah border. Authorities say a signal may not have been working to order the train to stop. Forest fires across the South continue to belch black smoke into the night. 180,000 acres have burned in 13 states from Virginia to Texas. Minnesota firefighting reinforcements are on hand to help. The National Guard has also been called in. The ground shook in California again this morning, but it wasn't another earthquake. Scientists detonated 6 tons of dynamite underground to learn more about quakes. Coming up on the update, we'll find out what's shaking in weather. Karen?
I think the word is shivering, and it will be us as some of the coldest temperatures so far this season are on their way. Mark?
Karen, coming up in sports, the Vikings return to their winning ways using Wade, their backup. And the North Stars look for a turnaround on the road at the always unfriendly Chicago Stadium. And expanded sports coming up.
All right, and when we come back, we'll find out how all the good feelings about the Dome after the Twins' World Series win are translating into a bonus for Minnesota's future. And we'll find out how one Vikings quarterback is making it despite having diabetes.
Our last blast sale is on at Towsley Subaru. We have so much good news, we need all this commercial.
Now, wait a minute. We have just as much good news here at Towsley Ford.
We've made a special purchase of 150 Subarus, 100 four-wheel drives, wagons, hatchbacks, sedans, all real Minnesota cars with cash back up to $1,500.
Yes, but here at Towsley...
The prices are so low. You can buy a brand new 87 four-wheel drive Subaru for only $69.95. I repeat, $69.95. But only during this last blast sale while they last. Towsley Subaru, White Bear Lake.
Some of these, a bunch of those.
Hey, what's going on?
It's Mill's Fleet Farm stock-up sale.
Hey!
Work and sport boots are built tough to take it.
The men's leather outdoorsman boot is waterproof, with slip-resistant Indy 500 soles, all for only $69.88. And these men's waterproof leather boots with padded collar are just $55.88. And keep your feet warm and comfortable with Fox River Olefin socks, now only $239 a pair.
So come in and watch our prices tumble, now during the stock-up sale at Mill's Fleet Farm.
Today's high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the only leading motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Castrol GTX now at all Target stores.
The cheers resounded once again in the Metrodome today, but of course it wasn't baseball the fans were cheering, but football. More than 57,000 people came to see the Minnesota Vikings beat the Raiders. But there are plenty of other teams willing to play before a big Minnesota crowd. State officials are taking advantage of the good press the World Series gave Minnesota, and they're about to embark on a major campaign to bring championship sporting events here. Pat Milan reports on the big push that begins this week.
This is a special moment in Minnesota sports history.
To Gaetti, for the first time ever, the Minnesota Twins are the world champions.
And if the state gets its way, you can expect many more special moments to come. Minnesota is already in the running for a 1992 Super Bowl. The NCAA Final Four for basketball will be held in the Dome that same year. But state officials say they're not satisfied. They intend to go after 20 other major sporting events and festivals.
The positive media attention that we had nationally for that two-week period really establishes Minnesota as a place where any sport would want to have their national championship.
As director of the Minnesota Amateur Sports Commission, Paul Erickson is finding that the Twins World Series win is making his job much easier.
The World Series has really put Minnesota in a very positive light, both as a city that can host the largest of events and also the tremendous fan support that was demonstrated.
On amateur championships alone, Erickson figures $300 million is collected by the host cities. And the championship fever is not only felt on the amateur side. The pros are using the Twins win to push Minnesota too. Ron Gornick heads the commission that operates the Metrodome and Met Center.
We are going to definitely be the aggressor. We want to bring as many event-related, game-related days to our Metrodome here as we possibly can.
Gornick says jokes about the Dome and apathetic Minnesota fans have disappeared since the World Series. And talk about Super Bowls, college Final Fours, and even World Cup soccer is no longer laughed at. The chance of those championships coming here regularly is very real now, as real as the Twins, world champions. Pat Milan for the Eyewitness News Update.
Well, the Metrodome was pretty well packed for today's Vikings game, but not everyone who showed up was happy. Some of the sports fans we talked to going into the Dome still had a bad taste in their mouths from the players' strike.
I kind of wish the strike would have went on for the whole season and they started over just like they did with the air controllers. They could have got a lot of good players out of the college.
This was the second Vikings home game since the strike. Before this afternoon's game, no one was more concerned about his pregame meal than quarterback Wade Wilson. The reason? 2 years ago, Wilson found out he had diabetes. On this week's Vital Signs, Dr. Michael Breen reports that Wilson has refused to let that hold him back.
This is the Wade Wilson we're all familiar with, the quarterback who's now having some of the best years of his career. But this is the Wade Wilson we don't see. the man who measures his own blood sugar and who gives himself 2 injections of insulin every day. It's a ritual that began 2 years ago when Wilson found out he had diabetes.
At first, I thought it was the end of my football career. You know, that's the first thing that went through my mind.
Wilson was so worried about his career that at first, he didn't tell his teammates about his illness. Wilson's teammates found out later, after he'd proven that illness hadn't made the smallest dent in his ability. On the football field, Wade's almost, but not completely, escaped his diabetes. His biggest concern is having an insulin reaction during a game. That's too much insulin, which lowers his sugar, makes him jittery, and less than his best. To prevent that, the quarterback eats a large meal just before every game. Also, during the game, the Vikings trainer keeps some sweets on the bench. So far, Wilson's never needed those sweets. Wade Wilson knows that insulin alone won't cure his diabetes. He could still face future blindness or kidney failure. His goal now, to delay those potential complications as long as possible.
I haven't had any complications that are associated with diabetes yet, and if I can take care of myself now, then I'll be ready for when the cures, comes around.
Wilson agreed to talk to us because he wanted to share that upbeat message with other diabetic patients. That message and this one.
Well, I'm sure the natural reaction is become a little bit depressed and frustrated when you first get diabetes, but I think if you can just educate yourself and the people around you, that you can go ahead and lead a normal life and not let it affect yourself.
Wade Wilson is living proof of just how true that is. For the Eyewitness News Update, I'm Dr. Michael Breen.
And still to come on the update, 5's first forecast for the week ahead with Karen Falloon. And later in Sunday's People, an auction of the belongings of the most famous German in the 20th century.
The biggest Chevy full-size 4x4 sale of the year. Chevy Thunder. This week at your Twin Cities area Chevy team. Last chance on special signature, specially made Chevy Thunder 4x4. Buy now, get this exclusive Thunder package. $995 retail value, no charge. 4x4 Beaver, the largest inventory in history at each and every one of your Twin Cities area Chevy team dealers. A sale so big, it crushes the competition. Chevy Thunder.
Remember winter? We have the solution to Toro Snow Thrower from Cherokee Power Equipment. Choose Toro CCR 2000, the only snowblower guaranteed to start by the second pull. The #1 rated 521 of the new Power Shift snowblower. Cherokee has a huge selection. Cherokee can handle your financing with their 30, 60, 90-day no-interest financing or have easy monthly payments. Price, selection, service. Cherokee has it all. Cherokee Power Equipment, 63rd and Boone Avenue North, Brooklyn Park.
Hi, welcome to You Ask For It. Betty, what's the first thing you ask for when you're looking for a place to live? A new drink. Betty. What do you ask for, Bob? Big closets. Oh, great. Jack, what's the first thing you ask for when you're looking for a place? Natural gas. Congratulations! You asked for it and you win!
Winners ask for comfortable, affordable natural gas. Ask for it.
Bye.
Hey, this trip I'll get this travel tote free. And just in time.
Budget Rent-A-Car announces free Pierre Cardin luggage for frequent flyers.
Love this garment bag. Just a few more trips and I'll get another one. For my husband.
The more you rent from Budget, the more luggage you get free.
I travel a lot.
So we got this whole set in no time.
Now, in addition to fine cars at low rates, frequent flyers have 9 more reasons to frequent Budget. Call for details.
Now, earlier we talked about all the acres that are burning to the south of us, all those brush fires, and they're causing more problems than, I guess, just the burning acreage.
Oh, yes. Unfortunately, the smoke from the fires over Tennessee and Kentucky has reduced visibility to less than a mile again today over western Pennsylvania. And that smoke has spread from Indianapolis all the way to Boston, Massachusetts. In addition, the thick smoke has posed a health threat to those with respiratory and heart problems, and persons with those health problems were advised to stay indoors today until a cold front that moved through the Twin Cities this morning can pass through the Northeast and improve the situation, and that, of course, will dissipate that smoke, push it farther out. Now, at the other end of that cold front, The cold air surging out of Canada met the warm, moist air coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, and there was some severe weather today in parts of Louisiana and Texas. Very heavy rains in south central Texas with flash flooding a problem. We're on the cold side of that system, and tonight, clear skies expected, rather chilly temperatures, overnight lows 19 to 24 degrees waking up. You can expect clear skies and a bit nippy, 21 degrees. The rest of the day, we're looking for sunshine and plenty of it, but it'll be a cool sunshine because the temperatures tomorrow afternoon will range from 37 to 42 degrees. Right now, the temperature has dropped to 31 with clear skies. The dew point is 16, the relative humidity 53%. Winds are out of the north, though, at 13 miles an hour, so that gives us a wind chill of 13, and the pressure is still rising. That gives us a new low temperature for the day of 31. Our high was actually very early this morning before that cold front came through. The afternoon high temperature only reached 44 degrees, and we've had just a trace of precipitation. Well, tomorrow, the high pressure will be over northern Minnesota. That means very dry air, plenty of sunshine, clear, cold nights, and this high pressure will dominate the weather over the next couple of days. Now, a cold front, the one that went through this morning, very little fanfare, but a cold front a year ago moved through, and we started out just before dawn with thunderstorms, and that turned to snow showers by noontime. Now, this front rumbled through here with 66-mile-an-hour wind gusts at the Twin Cities International Airport, and the temperatures plummeted from the mid-50s to the low 20s by dark. Quite a bit different today. And northern Minnesota will feel the effects of that cold front tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine, but the temperatures will only be in the low to mid-30s. Southern Minnesota will have sunny skies, upper 30s to lower 40s, and western Wisconsin, mostly sunny as well, and the temperatures just in the lower 40s. Now, today we started out with a few clouds, but the skies cleared this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine, but it was a bit nippy because of the northerly breezes. Over the next couple of days, sunshine in the forecast. Our coldest night this week will be on Monday night, as temperatures will dip into the upper teens. And then we warm up toward the end of the week. Our daytime temperatures will be near 50 degrees, possibly low 50s there on Thursday. Another chance of showers on Friday, but that's a question mark. We are so dry. I don't know how long it's going to take for that moisture to return.
Okay, Karen, thanks. A trial for a St. Paul man is just one of the stories coming up on Eyewitness News this week. 18-year-old Jamie Pfizer is charged with stabbing his high school girlfriend. His murder trial begins tomorrow. Also on Monday, Minnesota's Board of Education will talk about plans to require AIDS education across the state. And coming up Tuesday on the Eyewitness News Update, a look at how more and more companies are trimming their workforce, leaving thousands of middle-aged workers out in the cold. Join us for our special assignment report called Starting Over. Well, Tommy Kramer was kind of starting over today. Not exactly the best results.
No, he may have to start over again, and I don't think today solved anything as far as the quarterback controversy goes. By removing Wade Wilson and inserting Tommy Kramer as the starting quarterback today, Jerry Burns hoped to bring the Viking offense back to life. Well, Burns' formula didn't exactly work, but a quarterback switch did. At halftime of today's game with the Raiders, it was out with Kramer and back in with Wilson. And back to winning for the Vikings. 31-20, they did it today over the Raiders. Now, the Viking defense controlled most of this one. It set up the first touchdown when rookie Henry Thomas got his first NFL interception right there. Now, from there, Tommy Kramer went 26 yards in the air to Anthony Carter, just short of the goal line. AC's called down, and TK took it in from there. Through the air, Kramer was just 5 of 16 for 54 yards. Now, the Viking pass rush return today, 6 quarterback sacks against the Raiders. Doug Martin got that one. It was 7-3 at the half. Earlier in the third, Carl Lee gets interception number 2 of 4 on the day for the Vikings. His return set up a short Wade Wilson TD run. Intercept number 3 set up Viking touchdown number 3. It's Wilson's first pass of the game for Hassan Jones. Sure, he gets a lucky bounce, but why be picky? 21-3, Vikings had the lead. That's when L.A. came back. Mark Wilson, who replaced Rusty Hilger, gets it here to James Lofton, makes it 21-13. Then with the Raiders threatening to get within a point, Bo Jackson reminds us of how well he did as a baseball outfielder. Watch him here. He'll drop the ball. Jesse Solomon will pick it up for the Vikings, and he says, Bo, this is how you run with it. It set up Wade Wilson's second pass of the day. And just like the other one, this is a TD toss. This time it goes to Steve Jordan. Wade didn't need to throw anymore. Make him 2 for 2 for 69 yards. Vikes win it 31-20, but the quarterback controversy lives on.
And it could be a thing that may vacillate back and forth throughout the course of the season. I don't know. I just haven't made up my mind, and I've got to, and it's not an easy decision.
The main thing is that we're both very competitive, and we both want the team to do well. And, you know, if he's having a bad day, then I can come in and spark the team, that's good. And if vice versa, you know, if he can come in for me. So the overriding goal is to get this team in the playoffs.
Well, I'll buy that. Next up for the Vikes, it's another home game. They'll host Tampa Bay next Sunday. Now, ignore your pocket schedule on this one. It's the game they flip-flop with the Bucs to let the Twins use the Dome during the World Series. And it'll be a real big game because the Vikes are tied with the Bucs in the Central standings. Slowly, they're starting to erase the memory, but not the losses left by the replacement players. The Bears just about have the Central showed up. Now, this Bear fan looked real relaxed. Chicago was in Green Bay, and the end of this game is about as predictable as a Gilligan Island rerun. First quarter, Jim McMahon goes 59 yards here to Neil Anderson. Bears led the game 7-0, but Green Bay wanted this upset. Randy Wright says, "Here you go, Phillip Epps." Puts it in the air, 26 yards. The Pack's back on top. 4 seconds left. This one sounds like the winning answer to a game of Clue. Butler does it on the field with his foot, 52 yards. The Bears win yet another. In the closing seconds, they beat Green Bay 26-24. At Detroit today, they were out to prove they're not the lousy Lions. Chuck Long there early hitting Rob Rubik to make it 10-0 Detroit over Dallas. But it took this run by Gary James to break a 17-all tie in the fourth. Detroit upsets the Cowboys today, 27-17. One other Central Division score to tell you about. It was St. Louis scoring 31 points in the second half. They beat Tampa Bay today, 31-28. Still ahead, the rest of the day in the NFL, and it includes some surprises. Plus, the North Stars invade Chicago Stadium. That rivals any rivalry. When Eyewitness Sports continues.
The two came from out of the West. One was big and lean, the top sirloin from Cattle Company. The other was tasteful, Italian, shrimp scampi. And now they're coming together to form one legendary dinner with a baked potato and a fresh garden salad. All for just $8.95. Top sirloin and shrimp scampi. Our Italian Western combination. Only at Cattle Company.
Oldsmobile, official car of the U.S. track and field team, announces the Cutlass Invitational Trials, presenting the strongest Cutlass team that's ever taken the field. Cutlass Supreme Classic, Cutlass Sierra, and the Quad 4 equipped Cutlass Calais. The efficiency of 4 cylinders, the performance of 8. The new Olds Cutlasses, primed and priced to challenge any car in the world.
See your Twin City Olds 5 today, while the Cutlass Invitational Trials are on.
Farmers who switch to Eradicane are getting better grass control. Isn't that right, Gary?
It did an excellent job controlling our grasses. Mainly foxtail is our big grass problem, and we're very happy with Eradicane.
How about you, Ellen?
I watched my neighbor putting on Eradicane with his fertilizer through impregnation, and I tried it, and it just cleaned up my grasses really well.
For better grass control than Dual or Lasso, farmers like you are switching to Eradicane.
Today's high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the only leading motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Castrol GTX now at all Target stores.
Like almost all of the other NFL Sundays this season, this one had its share of surprises. I certainly wouldn't want to be a betting man this year. The Redskins started today 6-1, and when Jay Schrader hit Gary Clark here late in the fourth quarter, Washington led the game 27-24, but Philadelphia has the rocket arm of Randall Cunningham. Let's loose here for Greg Garrity. That's a winner. The Eagles upset the Skins 31-27. And you know, quarterbacks aren't supposed to throw the football. And I'll tell you, Jim Kelly doesn't know that. This one he takes here from Rob Riddick, the running back, sets up Buffalo's first score of the day, 34 yards for Buffalo Jim. But Denver couldn't stop his passing either. Kelly here to Andre Reed, 6 yards. Buffalo upsets the Broncos today, 21-14. No upset here. Cleveland destroys Atlanta 38-3. The Falcons have been outscored 76-3 the last 2 weeks. Pittsburgh by a point over Kansas City. Miami by 6 over Cincinnati. And San Diego is a late winner over Indianapolis. The two surprise AFC division leaders battled it out in Indy. San Diego's Dan Fouts here ties the game in the fourth on this pass to Lionel James. Now, Indy's million-dollar running back Eric Dickerson rushed for 127 yards today, but he couldn't get the big yard to win it. Watch him here late in the game. He will fumble the ball on the goal line. That's not what they gave Eric all the money for, and that's all the Chargers needed. They took the ball right down the field from there. Vince Abbott will boot this 39-yard field goal to win it. San Diego is now 7-1, beating the Colts 16-13. Hey, guess who's 5-3 for the first time in their 21-year history? The New Orleans Saints. A big day for Dalton Hilliard. He takes this one from Bobby Hebert. Watch him there. Just bounces through a very feeble Ram defense. The Saints led it there by 14. Hilliard also showed off his other talent. Hey, this guy can throw. Watch him on the option pass. Nice catch by Hobie Brenner. They ain't the Aints no more. They beat L.A. 31-14. Also, San Francisco by 7 over Houston. The game being played tonight. The Giants, looking for their second win of the year, lead New England in the fourth period, and the Monday Nighter will be at the Meadowlands tomorrow, and it's on Channel 5 at 8 o'clock, Seattle and the New York Jets. Injury update. Remember this in yesterday's Gopher game. That hit that freshman wide receiver Pat Tinglehoff took in the fourth quarter. It looked scary at the time, but Pat's okay. Just a concussion, lots of soreness, and I'm sure a bad headache. He was released today from the Hennepin County Medical Center, and that's good news. So far, no good news to give you on the North Stars in Chicago. They've had to play come from behind all night at Chicago Stadium, down 1-0 in the first. Gordy Roberts here, the nice feed for Brian Bellows. That tied the game up at 1 apiece. Then down 2-1, František Musil does the deed here. The game is all tied at 1 apiece. Third period, though, Chicago pulls away. Dennis Savard will get the Blackhawk goal. It's on the power play. That makes it 4-2 Chicago. They're now late in the third period. The Hawks lead at 7-5. Also in the NHL this evening, the Devils and the Flyers tied at 3. Buffalo doubled Calgary, and Winnipeg is a 3-1 winner over Vancouver. So the Vikings win. We don't know who the quarterback is, but when they win, who cares?
That's right. In the meantime, slowly but surely, they're coming out of the hole that the replacement team dug for them.
That's right. They're 4-4 now. They're in second place. You got to give the division to Chicago at this point, but a wild card looks good with Dallas losing and with Tampa Bay losing. The Vikings are right there. That game with Tampa is a lot bigger than everybody thought it was going to be when the season started.
A really big game. Okay, thanks, Mark. Stay tuned. We'll tell you about a young lady who's probably the youngest write-in candidate ever for a mayor in Texas.
Here at Towsley Subaru, we hogged the whole commercial last time to tell you about our last blast sale. So you go ahead, Jess.
Thank you. Here at Towsley Ford, we have over 1,000 vehicles to choose from. Over 150 four-wheel drives on sale. Look, full-size F-150 four-wheel drive, only $10,995, or just $219 a month. Used cars, a huge selection, with sale prices on every one. And with last blast sale prices on all remaining 87s here at Towsley Ford in White Bear Lake.
You didn't leave me any time to talk about Subaru.
Unhappy with the way some frozen dinners cook in the microwave?
I do my best.
Well, Armour Dinner Classics is made for the microwave.
Ooh, I love it already.
Armour Dinner Classics uses recipes specifically for microwave cooking. And every portion is individually prepared, so everything is ready at the same time.
Mmm, that looks delicious.
Armour Dinner Classics, specially made to taste great out of your microwave.
Now you're cooking.
Not long ago, blinds looked like this. Then came the mini blind, a definite improvement. But now there's Bally Micro blinds. Bally Micro. The newest blinds you've ever seen. Bally Micro. Micro. So slim, so subtle, they can transform a room. Bally Micro. Micro. Just half the size of mini blinds, but so much more attractive. Bally Micro. Bally Micro blinds.
Available at American Home Decorating Center.
You've got a sore throat.
Like it's on fire.
And you want the pain to stop.
The faster the better.
That means Chloraseptic. Because only Chloraseptic has the powerful anesthetic phenol that penetrates nerve endings for relief in seconds. Relief so fast, the moment you feel it, we'll stop this commercial.
One day she's trapped in a Texas well. A few weeks later, she's getting votes for mayor. 19-month-old Jessica McClure is among Sunday's people. She grabbed the nation's attention last month when rescuers spent 58 hours trying to free her. Some voters in Houston were apparently so infatuated they wrote her name in this past week on the ballots for mayor there. Several of Adolf Hitler's old belongings were up for auction last night in West Germany and brought a sizable amount of money. 70 items, including signed letters, 2 autographed copies of his political manifesto, and a typewriter, brought in $70,000. And it turns out now that Judge Douglas Ginsburg was changing his mind yesterday about withdrawing from consideration for the Supreme Court, but it was too late. 3 hours after he had told the president of his original intentions, he arrived at the White House with second thoughts. But officials there told him the press had already been informed, so he went ahead with his announcement. We should point out that Hitler was an Austrian, not a German, as we indicated earlier. Week ahead in weather?
Week ahead looks dry and chilly, clear and colder tonight. Those overnight lows will be in the lower 20s, 19 to 24 degrees. And tomorrow, lots of sunshine, but it will be cool. Winds out of the north to northwest at 10 to 15 miles an hour. A high temperature only around 40.
And that'll do it for us. Thanks very much for watching. Good night.